Hi everyone, I'm Craig Malam. I'm principal in the San Francisco office of Cornerstone Research.
And I'm Russ Molter, a principal in the Chicago office of Cornerstone Research.
So when Judge Pan excluded efficiencies evidence during the trial in US v. Bertelsmann because it had not been verified, we were inspired to write something taking a closer look at efficiencies in merger cases. So the issue is that among parties there is a skepticism that credit for efficiencies will be granted under agency review. But among economists, including those at the agencies, the skepticism is puzzling, and efficiencies have been successfully litigated in recent trials like Sprint T-Mobile. So when I learned that my colleague here, Russell, had been engaged by the DOJ to rebut the efficiencies evidence that Judge Pan ultimately excluded, I wanted to learn more about how he, as a CPA and certified fraud examiner, would go about assessing that evidence in the context of a merger case. So we collaborated and decided we should write something to address what exactly is going on in terms of this issue.
Yeah, and the article takes a close look at the practical matters in terms of accounting evidence and from the perspective of antitrust analysis using merger guidelines. By the way, our findings don't change as a result of the updated guidelines, which we think have largely remained unchanged with regard to cognizability used for efficiencies. However, we think there are some new interpretations made possible by some reorganization under the new guidelines, particularly with respect to vertical and with respect to labor issues. So we'll be watching the future court reactions to the new guidelines to see what happens.
And, as for why we think the skepticism is a bit puzzling more generally, this stems from the economic reality that redeploying assets to higher value uses, including through asset sales and combinations of companies, is a normal and in fact healthy part of a well-functioning market economy. The merger guidelines, including the previous ones, have clearly indicated, in conjunction with specific tests for potential anti-competitive effects, how certain types of evidence show that efficiencies are likely to ameliorate the potential anti-competitive effect, or in other words, indicate that a merger may in fact be pro-competitive.
Yeah, and what we do in our article is use Judge Pan's decision to help clarify how an efficiencies case can be effective either before the regulators or the courts, and hopefully it starts to relieve some of that skepticism.